Okay.
What are we doing?
We're actually doing beers and budgeting in our new house. Yes. Join us. We realize it's been a while since we've done a budget, so
It's been a little bit busy.
better late than never. We'll fill you in on all the details in just a second. Hey guys, welcome back to the Debt Free Millennials channel. Who am I? I'm your host, Justine. This is my husband, Kyle.
What's up?
And we are going over our monthly income and expenses for the month of June. You're like, what? It's practically September. We know it's been a hot minute. We've had a lot of life changes happen. And so we need a drink of beer.
Yeah.
Well, you need a drink of beer.
Yeah. Why aren't you drinking a beer?
Because we got one cooking.
Yay, little baby.
Okay.
Anyway, so I'm going to drink on both for both of us. Well, not really, but I'm drinking, there we go, Una Familia. It's a Mexican lager, and I actually found the tequila first, and then was just looking for beer, just a beer to drink, and saw it, and I was like, wow, the tequila company that also makes a beer. Let's do it. This beer is delicious. Just a standard lager. Gonna enjoy it.
Standard lager.
And I'm gonna drink it out of my Zach Brown band koozie, or as the Aussies say, stubby cooler.
Stubby cooler. I've got a lime LaCroix.
Fancy.
So fancy.
Yeah.
Cheers. We need to buy some NA beers. And I want
We had some, but...
Yeah, and I want to try some spiritless liquors too. There's a spiritless bourbon I want to try. Well, should we get into the budget first, or should we do like some life updates first?
I don't even know where to start on my life updates. We moved. We moved into our new house. We bought a home.
We bought a house, which last beers and budgeting we said we had bought, and we were in the middle of closing. Obviously, closing happened.
Moving in happened.
We signed the dotted line on June 20th, and then we moved in June 24th.
Mm-hmm.
We have just been going nonstop. We decided shortly after 4th of July that we were going to do our kitchen renovation.
That was a great idea. Great idea.
We're like, why not just buy a house when we can do something different with the kitchen? So we are 90% complete.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, I've been updating
excited.
a little bit on Instagram, but that's been our big project. We used money from what we were saving for the down payment in the house fund. Because we put 20% down, we still had money left over. And so we used some of that leftover cash towards the kitchen renovation.
And we went back and forth a lot on, do we just put that towards the principal of the loan, or do we do a kitchen, or what? And for the renovation that was done, it was kind of needed in our opinion. I mean, it was a fully functioning kitchen. It wasn't like, there was a wall missing or something like that.
Yeah.
But it just felt it didn't work. And now it's amazing. And
Now it's
I love
amazing.
it. And we're going to spend a ton of time in there because everyone spends a bunch of time in the kitchen. So we felt like it was justified. But
And we did some cost-effective things. If you're on my e-newsletter, then we look at things from a budget perspective. So we were trying to figure out, okay, where can we keep costs at a low and then really splurge on the things that we really love. So the splurge was the countertop, for sure. I think that came in at about $6,000 or $7,000.
yeah, something like that.
And then we kept the existing cabinets.
Yeah, we only had to build one new cabinet. So our whole kitchen reno was only like $25K or something like that. Because some kitchen renovations can be like 80 to 100. And it's like, whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. We really just rearranged the cabinets and added new countertops and a simple description of it.
Yeah. So we've been working hard on that. We're coming up on week 5 of the kitchen renovation. So the last thing to be put in is the backsplash and then some little odds and ends, touch up paint, that sort of thing. But it's pretty much done and we're very excited about it because now it feels like we can actually live here. If you've ever done a kitchen renovation, then you know that you can't use your sink, your dishwasher. You can't hardly cook in there because there's sawdust everywhere. And so it doesn't really feel like you're living in your own space. You're camping out, you're using paper plates, plastic, all that stuff. Now it feels like we're living here,
Yay.
which is awesome. That's a big home update. We're going to get into the budget. So, June will be different. You'll see in July's episode where we start spending a lot of money, and we had a little bit of buyer's remorse I think for like 48 hours.
Yeah.
We were like, what did we do?
It's a big house. And
I mean,
we went from no space to some space. So we're used to playing origami and Tetris with everything. And now it's like, oh, the closet's big enough. I can hang my clothes. So this looks new.
Let me turn it on here.
Wow. New. Fancy.
This is a template that I've been working on with a former coaching client of mine, actually. It's funny, I got to hire 2 different coaching clients of mine, one to build this super template I'm so excited to show you, and then another one who is helping me as a virtual assistant for YouTube, which is so great. I love this because I know they're passionate about money, and I run a money business.
You do?
Personal finance business.
When did that start?
I don't know. Okay, so this is what I'm dubbing the super template. If you think of a more creative name after you see it, let me know in the comments. But basically you have a checklist up here at the top that kind of tells you what is going to be happening at the beginning of the month that you might be thinking of, end of the month, any events happening in this month, and then notes. And then this is really cool. Any gray area that you see in this template has a formula in it. So if you don't want to mess with the formulas, don't mess with the gray cells. So this will automatically update every time that you update your budget. I left the debt table in here so that you can see, obviously our debt is going to be our mortgage, but we didn't have any of that going in June. So that's why it's not included. You'll see it in a later episode. You'll see a summary of income, the job deductions that we've had previously, any contributions, employer contributions, investments that you want to note here for balances, and then all of your fixed fund, fudge, and future expenses, same as the basic template that I offer for free, which is linked below if you want to ride that out before going into the super template, which is a paid template. And then you can do your due dates here and add, like, if your mortgage was due on the 1st, you'd have that. Once it's completed, you just check your box. Pretty cool, huh?
Cool.
So mortgage obviously was 0. We didn't have any expenses for like rent or anything like that for the month of June. Daycare was really babysitting for the month, which was $200. And then we didn't have any utilities also because we were living with my parents at the time. Actually, we were halfway living with my parents, halfway living at my cousin's house. So
yeah, I almost forgot. Wow.
Yeah, but we did have some expenses, like we paid for our homeowner's insurance for this house. So that was $1,600. What else? Some insurance, some sinking funds that we were setting aside money for. Gas, we actually spent $162 on gas for the month of June.
That's wild.
I've been noticing our gas bill is much more expensive here.
Yeah, but I mean, we were going to look at houses, right? So it's like, okay, we're going to go from our parents' house down to this neighborhood, then over that neighborhood, and then this one, and then back to the parents' house. Oh, we forgot to go out to eat. You know, it's like there's just more driving because of the nature of looking at houses. So
this is where it gets scary. What you're following here in the white is our planned, what we planned on, and this is the actual. And no, I was not actually planning on spending $1,600 on groceries. I just had to continue to pivot and change the budget as I saw the number creeping up. We spent over $1,500 on groceries and household items. Granted, we were living with my parents at the time, so we were really kind of contributing to like a family of 5. So we were having family dinners together. I was contributing to that pot, and so it got expensive. Same with restaurants. Restaurants was $922. So between the two of them, we've got $2,500. Yikes.
yeah, I mean, we also didn't pay rent. We didn't pay a mortgage that month. That was our way of showing our appreciation to your parents. So if I look at that as like, that's food and rent, then I'm like, well, that's cheap compared to what we were paying in LA.
You guys are wondering how we're inputting the actual numbers. There is a daily expense tracker. So for the super template, you would be following the daily expense tracker, and then everything that I typically have my budget open, one window, one side of my screen, and then my credit card statement on the other side of my screen. And then I'm adding these in. So this is where you can add your expense. So as I'm seeing them pop through, like Jefferson's Lenexa, this was a restaurant. So I added it when it happened. You can categorize it using this drop-down menu. selecting restaurants, and then adding the amount. All of this gets automatically categorized up here. So you don't have to touch this.
That's cool.
So if you like daily expense trackers, but you also like monthly budgets, this is the best of both worlds, and it's going to give you more data. It will automatically turn red if you go over. I just manually overrode these two things because I wanted to highlight that. But it'll show you here where you went over automatically.
What did we spend gifts on? Going back into the budget. Like everything shopping.
I know there were some charitable donations. Yeah, I think you bought some alcohol and stuff.
Oh, some
from
gifts.
It's just going to highlight the whole thing. Yeah, I know you bought some alcohol for people as gifts. Mm-hmm. And so I bought you a birthday present. I also bought tickets for the Zac Brown Band Kenny Chesney concert that we went to for Kyle's birthday.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was $326 now that I'm seeing it. Plus I also went in on a wedding gift for my sister who's getting married. So those were the two big culprits. How was Zac Brown Band Kenny Chesney?
Zac Brown Band is just magical. It's just great. He actually stole the show. People started leaving for Kenny Chesney after Zac Brown was over. That was pretty impressive. But Kenny Chesney's, he's good. He's got a lot of energy on the stage for how old he is. Yeah,
he was running around and he was wild. But I do like Zac Brown Band way better. Yeah. He just has the vocals. He has it all. So that's kind of the fun money spending, shopping, fun money, all that stuff looks good. We had moving expenses. We paid for a local mover to move our stuff from storage into the new house. So that was paid up for.
That was brutal. It was like 100 and heat index of like 108 that day. It was the hottest day of the summer. I had ice packs. The guys were shoving ice packs down their shirts while they were moving stuff in. Worth every penny. It was crazy hot.
So crazy. We also spent some money on buying furniture from the sellers for our house. So they had some stuff that they wanted to part with, and then we were kind of wheeling and dealing with them. So we spent some money doing that. We got some really great things out of the deal, I feel like, because we were coming from a 2-bedroom apartment into this big house. And so we're like, kind of need stuff. Awesome wraparound basement couch.
Yeah.
With a rug and a coffee table, like
pool table, ping pong table, outdoor furniture, fire pit, lots of good stuff.
Lots of really good stuff. Okay, so then you're going to see here the chart, how all of this kind of breaks down, what we spent on all of this stuff, so that you can kind of get a breakdown of how everything was laid out. And then you also have the subscription tracker to show you exactly what subscriptions were paid for the month of June. And then also an instructions tab, so you know what to work on.
Won't need that, will I?
Now, as you add cells in here, obviously you need to make sure that your formulas are incorporating the new cells that you add. And I'll do a whole tutorial video on how this super template works. But if you're interested in something like this, comment below and let me know. This budget template, I feel like, is for those who want more advanced numbers. They want to see more data, like a percentage of how their money is being allocated. And also they still want to do a spreadsheet. So we actually skip this. We usually do this in the beginning, but we planned on $12,000 for our monthly income. We actually brought in $14,566. We had $1,900 left over. I honestly can't even tell you if we can budget with that money or not, because I feel like so much money was spent in July. So I think even discussing what we're gonna do with that money has already actually happened.
Next.
So that is, or was, June, and we'll have to hop into July's budget and show you how much more money we spent on the house, because we spent a lot. Are there any other updates that you want to give the kids out there? We had somebody on YouTube comment quite often, quite frequently, saying like, we made a mistake, you know, you're spending too much money, and Kyle's remote job, like how can you bank on that? What if he loses his job? You know, and those comments really got to me. And you and I had conversations about it, because this person's like, not wrong. Anything could happen. There's always inevitable risk with purchasing a home and relying on your career.
Yeah, your job doesn't have to be remote to lose it. So I was in LA all week. working, so I still travel to work, not on a daily basis.
Yeah.
There's risks with everything, and you're going to have to risk versus reward on things. And we're fairly conservative with how we look at things. Risk averse, I think, is what they call that. And so this house was still like 100 to 150K under our budget of what we were looking at. So from that perspective, we did go conservative, but then we renoed the kitchen, but we didn't do a big reno. We did a 25K reno, not a 75K reno. There's like these balances of, I also want to live life. Like we could have got a 3-bed, 2-bathroom house that was, 1,500 square feet. And we talked about doing that.
We talked about doing that.
And just paying the house off in 5 years and just doing that. I was like, by the time we have 2 offices and, a couple of bedrooms, like we're going to have to make kids share bedrooms, which there's nothing wrong with, but I just didn't want that for us. We could afford otherwise. We could spend more money. I mean, we could pause our retirements and spend more money. There's always more money to spend in our case. And so it's a balance. And I think that's, I see Dave Ramsey's stuff about rice and beans and like not living life. And it's like, we've had a bunch of funerals around us right now. And I'm watching these people and what they did. And it's like, you just don't know when your number's up. So there's a balance of like, I want to live my life, but I also need to plan for the future. And so I think we discuss and communicate about what our visions are for that. And I think as long as you're doing that and you're on the same page, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I mentioned buyer's remorse at the beginning of the video, that we were kind of like, oh shit, what did we do? There's so many projects. There's so many things we want to tackle that require money.
I miss the weather, miss some of the food, the culture.
Yeah,
I also don't miss the high cost of living. I don't miss the noise, sharing walls with neighbors. Like the things that we had in LA, we don't get in Kansas City. Things we get in Kansas City, we don't have in LA. Like it's very bifurcated in that situation where it's not like we kind of had this and we kind of had that. It's really 2 different environments. So you're going to miss it when it's that black and white.
I think I was even getting emotional. It all hit me in 1 week. And I was just like, I miss how easy like that tiny LA apartment was. And like we could just like run out the hall to turn down the thermostat. Now we have to like run down the stairs. But we fixed that with the Wi-Fi app. Anyway, I don't have any regrets buying this house.
No, I want to instantly live in it. And so I want to just go through and just do every room tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's just because I'm impatient.
Yeah,
I'm an impatient person. If no one's ever picked up on that.
That's our downfall, is that we see the opportunity. We want to fix things right away. We want to redo the backyard, redo the kitchen. We want to add you a really killer office. Like your dad was reminding us that it's okay to take your time and build up to those things. So we even said, after the kitchen's done, let's just live in it for a second and just kind of see what comes to us as the next priority. I thought that was important to share.
I'm terrified for next month's beers and budgeting.
Me too. But if you continue to enjoy these types of conversations, between us and you, like that button that like.
And then button it up and hit the subscribe button too. And you can zip that one up.
Zip that one and put it in your pocket. Because it really, truly does help out the channel. The more that you engage here with these videos, the more it gets pushed out to other people who may not know what Debt-Free Millennials is all about. Can we call ourselves Debt-Free Millennials still?
I don't know.
Technically, we have a mortgage now. How about you give us the vote? Can we technically still call ourselves Debt-Free Millennials, even though we took out a mortgage to buy our first home? I think you kind of have to in this day and age.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, until the next episode, have a great one, you guys. We'll catch you in the next video.
Cheers.